Some of you may or may not know this, but VS Code itself is actually an Electron app. And in this video, we're going to be exploring QDash, which is kind of like this bar at the top of the Visual Studio Code app. And you'll notice that this bar at the top fits in really well with the style of Visual Studio Code. And we're going to be able to do something similar with our applications by using the QBar component. So let's do our usual routine of adding a new sidebar item. And we do that by going into Source, Layouts, Main Layout, and let's find the items. So we've got banner here. Paste that down and call this bar. And change that to Q bar. Save that. The next thing we need to do is add the routes for that. So we'll go to Routes, copy this down, add the comma in there, change that to Q bar, and change this word to bar. Copy this, Quasar, new page, whack that in, and we're ready to get started. So let's run Quasar dev up there. And when that's running, I'm going to open up the browser window and we can dive right in. All right, so let's make this a little bit smaller. We can probably close that for now. And let's jump into our component. Here we go, the QBar page. Now, to get started, we'll just say Q-bar. And let's whack something in here, like the bar. Save that, open our menu, go to QBar, and there we go. That's what the QBar looks like. Really, it's just a rectangle, but there's a few cool things that we can do with this rectangle. Let's start by making a bar that kind of looks like something from a Mac. And we'll do that by adding some buttons in here. Q-button, and now we can change a few things about this button so that it looks like those little close, open, etc. buttons that you get on a Mac. So we can make it dense. We can give an icon that is equal to lens. What else? We can set the size to a smaller size. And by the way, I'm grabbing a few of these ideas from the docs. So I don't want you guys to think that like I came up with a lot of this myself. But no, a lot of this is coming from the smart guys and girls from the Quasar team. So now we can put in here round to make a rounder button. Let's make it flat. And we'll give it a color as well. So what about red? So this can be the close button. And there we go. It kind of looks like a close button on a Mac. Well, it looks exactly like a close button on a Mac. We can copy paste this down then and create a yellow one. And I have to be honest with you, I don't even know the differences between these buttons because I haven't really spent much time on a Mac, mainly just Ubuntu. Mainly just Linux and Windows. So there we go. It kind of looks like a Mac window bar. And now we can add a little bit of space by going QDash Space. That's a really handy component. So that's going to push us over here to the right side of the bar now. And what can we add in there? Maybe like a Wi-Fi signal. So QDash icon. And the name of that icon is equal to Wi-Fi. Just a silly little example to show you how this works. And once again, how cool is it that we can just whack an icon straight on there and it's going to automatically be set to the right size. Now let's try and build something that looks a little bit more like a Windows bar. So Q-bar, and let's whack some things in there. Let's start with a bit of space, Q-space, because a lot of those icons tend to be on the right side for Windows, like sort of up here in the top right. So we'll create a bit of space there, and let's add some buttons in. Q-button, close that off, and let's make this dense. Let's make it flat. And what else? Let's give it an icon that is equal to minimize. I think we've got that in our icon set. Yeah, there we go. Oh, these are sitting right on top of each other. So let's say class is equal to Q-margin top extra large, just so they're separated. And another thing we can do while we're adding classes, let's just change the colors a little bit. Actually, it'd be fun to make it look a little bit like Visual Studio Code. So how about a background of gray 7? Yeah, that's about right. And then let's also give it a text color, maybe text-gray, I don't know, 3. So this kind of looks a little bit like the Visual Studio Code bar. I like that. And let's go ahead and add a couple more. Paste that down. So that one, what would that be? That would be crop_square. And then this one would be close. Let's check that that's right. And there we go. Now we've got like those classic close, minimize, all those sorts of icons that you would expect to see in a Windows application. And if you jump over to the docs, you'll see the examples for iOS and Android as well. So you can go there and check that out if you like. I just don't want to keep this video too long, especially since we have some more to dive into. Now next, I want to add a menu item on the left side here. So let's scroll up. How are we going to do this? Let's do it before that space. And we'll say QDash menu. And inside that menu, we'll have a list. So QDash list. And inside that list, we have items, QDash item. And then items have sections, QDash item dash section. We're going to be doing this quite a lot. You'll use lists a lot when you're creating Quasar components. And it's definitely worth getting used to writing this syntax because you're going to be writing it all the time. And one of the list items could be save. And then maybe we'll create another one that is quit. How about that? Let's see if that works out for me. All right. Oh, we need to have something to display for this menu item. So maybe the word menu. There we go. So if we click on that, we get the menu. However, we probably want a pointer button there. To do that, we can probably just double click this, Control-Shift-Enter, wrap it inside a div. And maybe we can then just say class equals Q-pointer. Cursor. This is a really cool utility class that just allows you to have your mouse turn into a pointer when you hover over something. And there we go, that works. So now it looks like it's clickable, and then we've got these items. However, I think they need to be a little bit denser. So let's go to Q item, make them dense, and also make them clickable. Yes, there we go. Now that's really looking like a menu. Awesome, I love that. What about a dialog? Let's see if we can wrap this inside a dialog and have it still work. So there's quite a bit of markup here. That's the bottom of it. Where's the top? Oh, I've gone too far. There we go, QBar, Control-Shift-Enter, and we can wrap that in a Q-dialog. Okay, so you might not have learned about this component yet. I'll show you how it works. Dialog is basically the same as a modal, but we get quite a bit of flexibility out of dialogs that you might not get in a classic modal. And now we can say value is equal to true, just while we're playing around with it. There we go. So now we've got the menu item there. And maybe we'll wrap this in a card. Yeah, let's wrap it in a card. Usually in this situation, you would abstract these concepts a little bit more. So Q-card, but I just want to do some demonstrations for now. There we go. And we want to add something into the card. So now we can say Q-card-section, and let's just whack in some lorem ipsum. There we go. So now the only problem is we still have a margin at the top of this menu bar. So if I come back up here we go. Margin top was extra large. I'll get rid of that. And how cool is that? Now we've got like this little menu that we can open up because of some action within our application. I think that's really cool. In fact, let's do this properly now and say v-model is equal to show dialog. We'll jump into our data component, or we don't have it yet. Here we go. Data, return, whack that in and set it to false by default. And now let's have a button that when we click it, it opens up that modal. Sorry, guys, I know that this is becoming a really long file. Maybe we'll clean it up in a second. And we'll say @click equals, and we'll set show dialog equal to true. There we go. Make this a self-closing tag. And we need to give it a label as well. Label is equal to open dialog. Click on that, and it works. How cool is that? But we want to make it so that when we click on this close button, it actually closes the dialog. So let's copy that, find that close button. Where is it? Here it is here. And we'll say @click show dialog is equal to false. Open dialog, and now we can close it as well. Awesome. What else can we do? I think the last thing is to show you how this would work inside of an Electron app. So if we open up our console, let's close down this server and say Quasar dev and set the mode to Electron. Now it's probably going to have to install Electron for you. So here it says Quasar Electron is missing, and so it's installing it. This can take a long time. I think a lot of the stuff it needs is already installed on my computer though, so it shouldn't take too long. So let's just wait a second for that to get going. And there we go. Now our app is an Electron app. So let's make it so that if we're in an Electron app, this toolbar is actually a QBar instead. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's actually take all of this. We'll get rid of that card section. We'll get rid of the card. We'll get rid of the dialog part. And we will just copy the bar itself. Where is it? There we go, up to there. We'll cut that out. And we don't need the button anymore, which is nice. We can simplify this file. And let's go to our main layout. And what I want to do is make it so that we have both. We've got the Q toolbar, and I'm also going to paste in that bar that we just copied there. There we go. And so we want to say, if this is an Electron app, show the bar. If it's not an Electron app, then I want you to show the toolbar instead. And we can do that really, really easily. Of course, Quasar has made this a cinch. So if we come up here, we can say v-if $Q. So this is how we tap into a whole bunch of Quasar-related stuff, .platform. And if the platform is Electron, then I don't want you to show the toolbar. I only want you to show the toolbar if it's not an Electron app. Let's scroll down now. And if it is an Electron app, we'll have to say v-if. If it is an Electron app, then go ahead and show this bar. And it works. There we go. Now we have just the bar showing. However, I want to make it so that we don't have this top bar. Basically, I want to remove the entire shell, so all we've got is this menu bar here. Let's go ahead and see if we can do that. First, we've got a source code section just for Electron. We'll jump into there, go into main process, and then Electron main. Now, don't worry if you don't understand a lot of that. You can actually get quite a long way without understanding all of the ins and outs of Electron. I certainly don't understand all of them. And now we can say frame is equal to false. So get rid of this frame outside. I want to handle that myself. That's what I'm saying here. We'll save that, wait for it to reload, and there we go. How cool is that? We've got this beautiful, clean Electron application. What else? Well, we want this to be draggable. Currently, if I click drag that, nothing is happening. And once again, really easy to do using Quasar. Let's go back to our main layout. And all we have to do is put a little class in here for the QBar that says Q Electron dash drag. Okay, so hey, Quasar, if this is Electron mode, I want this to be draggable. So save that, see if it works. We might have to close the server and open it up. Oh, no, wait, it's working. There we go. How cool is that? Another thing we might want to do is make it so certain things aren't draggable. Like this menu item, I can't click on it anymore because it's going into drag mode. So what we can do is we can say Q-Electron-drag, and on this menu item, and then say --exception. So this is an exception to the dragging rule. Save that. It might take a second to reload. Looks like that's not working, so let's see what happens if we close the server down and start it up again. Cross this out. And there we go, the menu's working again. If I try and drag on that, it doesn't drag the window, but if I grab it here, it still drags. Really, really helpful. Now, the last thing I want to do is make it so that these buttons actually work. Yeah, we can actually make it so these buttons do stuff within an Electron app. So in order to do that, let's just clean up our working area a little bit here. And we'll add a couple of actions here to these buttons. Where are they? Here we go. @click is equal to handle minimize. I think that's a sensible name. Let's copy that and paste it into both of these. Oh, we need to get rid of that show dialog click event there. We'll say @click, paste them in there. And this one will be HandleCrop. And then this one will be HandleClose. And now I'm going to copy all of those, come down to the bottom of the page here, and create methods for all of those. Methods, whack them in, and just turn them into methods. And there we go. What have I done wrong here? Oh, we need those commas in there. Save it. Cool. And now when we click them, it's going to handle the right methods. So next, I want to make it so that we have access to the Electron stuff. So access to the Electron window. So let's add a variable here called Electron browser window. I think that's a pretty good name for it. And we're going to set that to this dot $Q. So we're saying, hey, Quasar, get me the Electron-related stuff, remote, and then browser window. And then we want to say get focused window. So this is how we grab the browser window. And that's going to be set to a variable so it's easier to use in the future. And we also want to know if this is an Electron app or not. So let's say the mode is equal to process.environment. So this is going to grab the environmental variables within this application when it is built. And we want to grab the mode. So that's going to be set to Electron if it's in Electron mode. Okay, so let's go ahead and build out these events. Handle minimize. Now, if this .mode is equal to Electron, if we are in Electron mode, and they've just clicked on the minimize button, this .electron browser window, that's the one that we just created, .minimize. It's that simple. Save it. Let's see if it works. And it looks like that this is registering the menu button. What have I done there? Maybe we just need to restart it. Let's give that a try. I used a bit of video magic to make that happen faster. Minimize, and there we go, it's working now. So I don't know, something weird happened then. You might have to restart the app whenever you do sort of more integral Electron-related stuff. So let's come down and do the other methods here. HandleCrop. That's probably not a great name. Maybe we'll say handle maximize. There we go. Now this one's going to be a little bit more complicated, but not really. If this .mode is equal to Electron, so all of these are only running if we're in Electron mode. And then we also want to say if this .electron browser window is maximized. So if the browser window is already maximized, then we want to minimize it. So let's just copy that. .minimize. And if it is not maximized, then we want to maximize it. So let's go ahead and maximize it here and see if that works. Now I'm going to close this and then open it again by restarting the server because we had a couple of problems before and I just want to make sure. There we go. So maximize. Cool, that is working. Oh, what did that do? Oh, I accidentally said minimize. So here, we don't want to minimize it. We want to unmaximize it. So put the word un in front of there. And I'm just going to trust that that's going to work for now and move on to the HandleClose section. Once again, we check whether or not it's an Electron app. And if it is an Electron app and they've just pressed close, then we can say this.electron browser window.close. Save that. And now I'm just going to cross out of this. Every now and then when I click on that, it's opening up this menu. And I wonder if that's because I just need to close it and open it again. Let's have a go. All right. So the minus button works. We can minimize the window. We can maximize it. So that's working. And we're still getting some weird stuff with the menu button. So I might be able to fix that in a second. And the close button works as well. Awesome. We have a fully functional Electron app that uses a QBar component. And now I've got an inkling of why that button isn't working properly. That menu button. Yeah, so this entire menu needs to be sitting within that div. I'll show you what I mean. We actually want to grab that entire menu, whack it in there, and there we go. I think that's going to work now. That's going to fix those weird problems that we were getting. Let's run the development server again, and that will be the end of the video if all of this works. So let's cross our fingers. Right, close that. Minimize seems to be working. Maximize is working, and we're not getting that weird thing anymore with the menu, and we can close our application. How awesome is that? Thank you so much, Quasar, for making my life a joy. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you, and I will see you in the next one.